Aloha, Jen Boyd here, coming to you live from Honaka'a, Hawaii. I hope that you are having an amazing Saturday because you choose to. What I wanted to talk about today. So, with everything going on, it got me thinking about kind of the safety of the things that we use on a regular basis, things that have been approved for us to use, and we're told that it's safe and effective in some cases, right? But things that we use in our daily lives, foods that we eat, cooking utensils that we use, maybe pans that are lined with Teflon, um, things that are made out of certain plastics that we might use to store our food in. Uh, it's all just coming to a head in my mind about trading some convenience maybe for things that are maybe not so safe. Um, And what does that mean? And why does that happen? Why do they put things out that are not safe for us in the long run? And uh, sadly, I think a lot of it has to do with money. And we want to believe that the people who are regulating things have our best interest at heart. But I don't really think that they do. I think sometimes I actually believe that it's even more nefarious than that. Whether it's about money or maybe it's about something else. I mean, everybody can't live forever. There's money in pharmaceuticals. There's money in people being sick. Uh, and I don't know, it's kind of sad. And we, as the consumer, are uh, confused about products, what's safe and what isn't safe. And who do we trust to tell us that it's safe, right? Because the thing is that we've been told things are safe at some point, right? Even, you know, told by doctors that smoking was safe, not just safe, but it was good for you. And it did all these things. And, I don't know, 4 out of 5 doctors recommended it. But what was the end result in that? It's not safe. It's poisonous to you. And they didn't know it then, but they know it now, right? What else is like that? And I think that there are a lot of things out there that are like that. I'm going to share with you a few things that are approved to be in our food that absolutely shouldn't be in our food, but they've been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. Okay, now these things are some things that are actually banned in other countries, but they still are not banned in this country. Okay. So the FDA has approved partially hydrogenated oil. Okay. Now, what's the big deal about that, Jen? You say? Well, partially hydrogenated oils are made from liquid oils and chemicals that are added to make them solid at room temperature. Okay, they're used in a ton of baked goods products at the grocery store, some fried foods at restaurants, and it is the oil that creates the dreaded trans fats that are terrible for us. Okay. It's really, really does a horrible thing to our bodies. Okay. It is the most harmful fat that we can consume. And it tends to lead to heart disease. Okay. And it's not banned. It's still FDA approved. Okay. These are in our foods that we eat, and lots of times people don't read the labels. I think people are getting better at that. A lot of people are getting better at that. But the thing is that it's when it's an agency's job, supposedly, right? Supposedly, this is their job, is to regulate products that are going to be safe for us to ingest. Um, if you can't trust them to do that, that's kind of scary. So what's next? Okay, did you know that there are actually foods containing flame retardants? Mountain Dew is one of those food products. I guess you can use that term very loosely. But it has brominated vegetable oil added to some drinks to enhance their citrus flavor. And this is it's used as a flame retardant in plastics. Okay. This chemical blocks the receptors in our body and can lead to endocrine problems and reproductive problems. Okay, these are things that we are putting in our body because it's in our foods, and we are relying on these agencies to say what is safe and what isn't safe. So I have to say that this is not a great, so far, this isn't a great track record as to being able to trust an agency to determine what is safe for ingestion or not, right? What is safe or not? Because I just showed you two prime examples of what it is that they're willing to put in our food and let us eat, knowing full well the consequences of doing that. All right. Fat-free foods, Olean. And I don't know how often this is actually used anymore. There was a trend to where this was a thing, this whole Olean thing. But it's a chemical. It's very toxic because it inhibits our body's ability to absorb essential vitamins that do good things for our health, right? And it doesn't allow the ingredient and consumption can actually lead to like loose stools. And like I remember when Lay's came out with this whole Olean fat-free potato chips fried in Olean, and it was like this whole run on people like crapping their pants because they were eating these foods that were fried in this Olean. Well, not only was it give people loose stools where they could crap themselves, but it was toxic. And guess what? It's still approved by the FDA. Caramel coloring, still approved by the FDA. And it's found in soft drinks and beer. And the chemical used in caramel coloring can cause cancer. It can increase the risk of cancer. All right. And then another thing, and I think that they are not, now the FDA is not responsible for this, but I do realize that like a lot of manufacturers are realizing what these ingredients are doing to people, and they are taking responsibility to ensure that they are not putting these toxins in their products, and good for them. And one of those is RBGH, which stands for recombinant bovine growth hormone. And that is still actually approved by the FDA. Now, like I said, a lot of companies are taking it upon themselves to not use these growth hormones, and they're advertising that as such. But it's still approved by this regulatory agency. So, what does this all mean? And can you really trust the Food and Drug Administration to decide what is safe for you and what isn't safe for you? And I say, no, not really. Can you? Does a stamp of approval from the FDA mean anything? Does it mean anything? And I'm going to say it means very little to me now, because they have a track record of approving things that are not safe. I saw an article in 2007, and this was, and I'm quoting an NPR article here, okay? But May 9th, 2017, this article says 1/3 of new drugs had safety problems after FDA approval. 1/3. That's huge. That's huge. So if it can be FDA approved, but there are still problems with it, there's still huge risks when taking these drugs or eating certain foods that have these things in it. But it's been FDA approved. Really, what does that mean? If they can approve 1/3 of drugs and there are safety issues with them, that's not a very good track record. I got to tell you that if you were, I don't know, a doctor or something, and you had 1/3 of the patients that you saw had a poor outcome, like from the decisions that you make, you probably wouldn't be practicing medicine for very long. If you had a job and you were only good at it 2/3 of the time, you probably wouldn't really go far in the career of your choice, because being wrong and having issues like safety issues with something 1/3 of the time is a pretty big deal. Okay. I think the only people that can get things wrong that frequently is a weather person. And you know how we all feel about them. So I'm just saying to you that use your own discernment when it comes to putting things in your body, whether that be food, whether that be certain things that you cook with or store your food in. I was looking at Teflon, and I was wondering, like, is Teflon safe? And I was reading this thing from Healthline, I think, and it says, when used as directed at low to medium heat, it's completely safe. I don't know about you, but when I hear specifics like that say, at low to medium heat, it's safe, but if on high heat, it can create toxins, and these toxins can actually kill birds. That concerns me, that I have to use it in a particular fashion to ensure my safety. And if that's the case, really, how safe can that be? I don't know about you, but I've been guilty of overheating a pan many a times. So I think for me, I just want to choose better options. I want to choose options that don't have these little pockets of, well, it could be toxic in this case. I don't want to play with my health that way. So I'm going to be more, I'm going to pay better attention to the things that are in my food. I'm going to pay better attention to what the products that I'm using are made from and the adverse effects that those products can bring into my life. At the end of the day, it's our own personal responsibility to ensure that we are taking care of ourselves. All right. It's no one else's responsibility but our own. And that means reading labels. If that means doing your research to see, okay, well, what is this ingredient and what are the possible side effects of this ingredient? And what can it do if it's ingested or I cook with it or what have you. Okay, that is our responsibility. Only we can be responsible for our own health, and the decisions that we make, the foods that we eat, the products that we choose to use on a regular basis. It's up to us, because clearly the Food and Drug Administration cannot be counted on to be your last resort to believe that something is safe for you. They don't have the best track record, in my opinion. And so I'm just going to use my best judgment and go from there. So you can apply this to whatever you want to apply this to. All right. But for me, I'm going to do my own research, and I'm not going to willy-nilly just eat something, drink something, inject something, cook with something because the FDA approved it. So I will be back here on Monday. I hope that this brought value to you. If it did bring value to you, please like and comment. Share this with somebody that you think may benefit from it. And until we meet again, have an amazing weekend because you choose to. Aloha.